Hi everyone, Sherwood Small Pets here. So today I'm finally getting around to doing Merlin, my chinchilla's cage tour. He's a little difficult to do videos with. He doesn't particularly like people around his cage unless he's in a very specific mood. And today he's not so bad, so I've decided to take a shot at it. We'll see what happens. So without further ado, Merlin lives in a two-level Ferret Nation cage. When we move home for once I finally graduate my 5-year program, we're gonna be moving home, and we'll be adding a third. We won't be adding up because that would be ridiculous. We're gonna be adding to the side. So he just kind of we just keep expanding his cage, and he gets more and more personable as his cage improves. This is not how we started him out, unfortunately. I really wish there had been more open information about chinchillas when we got him 3 years ago, but we learned quickly, so fortunately for that. So I'll give you a bit about Merlin first. Let's see if I can find him for the sake of the intro video. He's in his tube, so I'll just chat while we look at his cage. We adopted him 3 years ago in March, so just under 3 years now, since it's January. We weren't planning on it. We were talking about doing it the following September, and we thought we would start learning about chinchillas, maybe look around, see what kinds of things we were going to need for them. And then we saw an ad on Kijiji, which is kind of like, I know some places have like Gumtree as well, that kind of, it's like pre-loved, all that. Local classified ad for a boring gray chinchilla, 1.5 years old. And so we went, and we found out that the address was actually the same address but the other side of the building as a place that we had rescued our 2 dwarf hamsters who are no longer with us, Toothless and Hiccup, the year before. So right away that kind of made my stomach turn. And we went in, and sure enough, there was one of those guinea pig starter cages with 5 chinchillas in it. So it made me sick. I don't think he'd ever had a dust bath. He'd fed him rabbit food, which is very, very bad for a chinchilla's liver and other various body parts. Vets have told us to watch him regardless of how long we've had him. So that was disheartening. And he was really, really freaked out about everything. So we weren't going to get him, and we were like, nope, no, no, no. But then we went home, and both of us, my other half and I, we were like, we couldn't get him out of our heads. And so we went back the next day and picked him up. We'd spent the day like scrambling, trying to find all the supplies, which is never a good idea. Don't do that. Don't rush to find supplies for a pet, especially a pet like a chinchilla. Don't do it. Regardless of how much your heart is pulling at it, don't do it. It's not good for them in the long run. We got a bad kind of food. We got not nearly enough hay. We got aspen shavings, plastic stuff. His first week with us was stupid, unfortunately. That's the only way I can say it. I don't like saying that kind of thing, but that's what it was. But anyways, as you can see, we've learned. So that was 3 years ago. Merlin is a diva. He's queen of the house, I say. Merlin wasn't the name he came with. I'm a huge fan of the King Arthur myths and legends, so that's where that came from. My other half was down because he likes the show. So Merlin was a treat. When he came home, he stayed up screaming. It's the only way I can describe the sounds he made for 2 weeks straight, and it was right before my exams all started. So as you can imagine, that was a great plan. So I didn't sleep for probably a week and a half. And he didn't really start coming around to people until about a year after things started turning around. Well, I guess it wasn't a whole year. He was only We got him in March, and I got the Ferret Nation in September.
not very long.
But regardless, and then took about 6 months after that for him to let us start petting him. Now he's very, very social. I've got a clip of him being social from last night, so I'll feed that in there somewhere if he doesn't want to come out, because it is morning. So I don't, sorry. So I don't blame him for not particularly wanting to. Anyhow, without further ado, I will start the cage tour. So I'll start up at the top since he's downstairs. And I might have to sporadically close the door if he jumps out, because if he wants out, he'll get out. So I apologize for the mess, but he doesn't eat things cleanly, and we just changed him last night. So this is his pot. This is where he sleeps. We got it at Michael's. It's got the slanted bottom, so it's flat and it's huge on the inside. We got it at Michael's last spring, and I'm going to buy another one this spring if they have them again, because he adores them. We also can use it as a sand bath when he's out of his cage, so it's really great because we don't have to use some plastic thing or anything like that. It's sturdy and he can't knock it over, so it's great. Up here is his hanging house. This one is made by Zoe and Lilo's Toy Box. I will put the link in my description. She makes pretty much everything of Merlin's. She's a friend of mine, and she is super talented, as I've said in other videos. I adore everything she does. And this house is over a year old, and it still looks just as good as the day we got it. It's covered in chinchilla fur, but, not even washing machines can get rid of that. Over here, we have the double hammock that I got him for Christmas. It's not quite as used, as you can see, as the hanging house, but Merlin doesn't particularly adjust to change that well, so he takes some coming around to it. This is the Natural Fiddlesticks large bridge. We got this from Flowertown Chinchillas. They were on sale for like $8 when we got it in the summer, so I got a couple of them, as Merlin goes through these ones fairly quickly because he pees on them. So can't really keep that around for too long. This is his newest liner. We got a set matching from Walmart. We actually use for Merlin, a lot of the liners that we use are the $5 fleece throws from Walmart, because they're the perfect size. They wrap around the plastic trays, because that way he can't get access to the plastic ever. So they almost wrap all the way around, and they wick really, really well. Now, not every chinchilla owner uses things under these fleece ones. If they do, it's usually flannel. However, we have, since getting the pigs, switched to U-Haul blankets. And to all of my fellow chinchilla owners out there, do it. Seriously, it makes the world of a difference. I can't even imagine switching back. We had to not use them for like 4 days this week, and I noticed the difference within like 24 hours. So just friendly note of advice there. Back here we have one of his many shelves. He's got one here, a big one here on the door. That's Boo's cage over there, by the way. So the big ones and the thinner ones are made by Zoe and Lilo's Toy Box. The smaller ones are just the single like sleeping ledges you get at the store. But they've all lasted really well. What we do, if they start looking kind of grimy like this one, we'll just sand it off. So once we move home, I'll just take a piece of sandpaper to a bunch of these and just kind of sand the edges off, get them all smooth again. So I mean, yeah, it wears away a bit at the ledge, but it looks a lot nicer, and it cleans it up. Over here, we have a grape ledge. This is grape wood. It's his second favorite type of wood next to apple wood. As you can see, this ledge is well worn, and it was only $5.99 at PetSmart. It's in the bird section. If you're going to get purchase for your chinchilla, though, be very careful that you don't get just generic hardwood. The only two I'd recommend at PetSmart would be the grape or the manzanita. And here we have one of his many miscellaneous hanging toys. I just basically put pieces of stuff that Zoe and Lilo's toy box will send to me on these chews. I have to replace this one today because uh, this piece right here, this mulberry stick, is not even sure how he got this piece off, but he did. Back here is another grapewood one, well worn, but it takes a lot longer for him to ruin them, so it's well worth it. The reason that this ledge looks so, or this chain is so long, he got one of the pieces. It's got a pine ball at the bottom and a bell. However, we disabled the bell because 2 in the morning wasn't good. All right, let's move down to the bottom. Okay. He's fast asleep. Okay. So in here, now he's not asleep, we have his other hanging house. This is his winter one. This is from the very first set we ever got. Oh, hello. Hi. Hello, Merlin. I have to be careful because if he gets out, it's very difficult to catch him. So this is his first ever hanging house from Zoe and Lilo's toy box. It is 2.5 years old, and it's still in perfect condition. So if there's anything that's a testament to how her products last and work, he is one, because he's hard on things. However, he doesn't chew his fleece. Like my sister's chinchilla, Rosie, destroys everything that's fleece. So if we look, I just have to keep it close because he's just a little too interested right now. If we look right here, we have a hammock from Zoe and Lilo's toy box as well. He uses this more as like transportation to get to and from this house or this ledge more than sleeping, because he seems to like him to be covered up. So for whatever reason, he still uses it, and it's really cute because it's just little polar bears. And so this is like a mini ledge. Now you've got another ledge down there. And then this one here, let me see if I can open it again. So this is a Manzanita perch. This is his first ever perch, and it's still in usable condition. So this is a big Fiddlesticks, the rainbow ones. Oddly, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with anything, but he doesn't pee on this one, so we don't have to replace these ones as frequently, which is great. And he has paid very special attention to it, as you can see. This is his favorite toy in the world, as I've said in my haul video. He goes through these like candy, and he has been since the day we brought him home. Hello. Hey. Hi, baby. So that's... So I'm trying to get your tube. Can you show people? No, not right now? Okay. Well, back here is his yellow tube. This he got from Zoe and Lilo's toy box as well. This one is almost 2 years old. It's starting to wear a bit more because he does spend nearly every day in it. However, we're getting him a new one this spring, and he has a second one that we're putting up in the 3rd level once we go home. So he has quite a few stocks lying around. Now let's see if I can describe some of his toys. So this round ball here, he has a second one somewhere. Oop. He's got a second one somewhere, multiple sizes. They used to put peanuts in them. So if you get an older one, make sure you check. However, now they put just regular like pine balls in them, which we still take out just in case because we don't know. But you can take them apart like a couple pieces at a time and then just put them back. And that would be what I recommend, because nuts of any kind obviously are super dangerous for chinchillas. Now, I would recommend the Ferret Nation cage to anyone with a chinchilla. I would never use anything else. They provide so much space, so many options. You can hang things to your heart's content, as you can see with Merlin's. Oh, speaking of hanging, I guess I should have described the thing in the back that it hangs all the way down and goes under the cage as well. It's, again, made by Zoe and Lilo's Toy Box, and blocks a lot of the light because the window's right there. And so it blocks the light out for him, and it also catches a lot of the poop because if any of you guys have chinchillas, you know it goes flying. So as you can see, this is what accumulated just after last night. Like we sweep it up every day, but when it's so close to my bed, catching things is important. So we're gonna be moving to the pan, like the metal pan trays this spring. So hopefully that'll make a bit of a difference, but you get used to it. Anyways, so as from all of us over here at Sherwood Small Pets, thanks for putting up with Merlin and we hope you enjoyed this cage tour. And if I get lucky, I will put in a little clip at the end of Merlin kind of running around last night outside of his cage. All right, we will see you next time, and the next video coming up is going to be things that I wish someone had told me before I got a hamster. Bye!